Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. We are so happy that you guys decided to join us for this live signing with Premier Collectibles. We're excited to have you. We have a lot of bases to cover.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, first of all, again, I want to thank you as well for coming to this live signing. We're going to have a lot of fun here. We're going to talk about the book. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to get into all of that while we sign. And if you haven't purchased a signed copy yet, there's still time. You can go to premiercollectibles.com/Sleep, get your signed copy. But for now, we're just hanging out.
Yeah, it's a party. We're excited. So Leap of Faith came out on Tuesday, and we are just so grateful. We're so excited that you guys are loving and enjoying the book. And like Cam said, if you haven't gotten your copy yet, don't fret. Head over, get your signed copy. It's available. So this is just like, it's an exciting moment. We're happy to be here with you. We're happy to sip some tea, if you will. Okay.
Spill some tea.
Talk about all the things that we're super passionate about, answer some of your questions. So let's start, babe. How are you feeling? First off, I mean, here we are. The book has been out a few days.
I know. Yeah, it's only been a few days. And already, I mean, one thing that really blew me away was seeing our audiobook, our hardcover, and our Kindle version on Amazon all go to #1 in the new releases on the love category and the marriage category.
That's amazing.
So, and that's all y'all.
Yeah,
for doing that. So we really appreciate that. And I know talking to some of the booksellers, your local bookstores that we've been working with, they've been saying that y'all are coming in, grabbing a lot of copies. So that's just amazing too.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say now that we are a few days in, it's kind of like we get to exhale a little bit, but we got to get through this launch week first. But it has been such an amazing labor of love writing this book, seeing it kind of grow and flourish and get to the point where we are now, where it's actually physically in you guys' hands. And yeah, let's just talk about the experience.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I guess let's hop right in from the jump. Well, as we sign these, don't forget, y'all, we signing these for y'all.
Yes.
Okay. So
and we'd like to sign
copy. And we like to sign for fun, right? So overall, it took us about maybe 9 months to about a year.
Right. Like having a baby.
Like having a baby, since you guys like to ask us about that. But we're going to save that part of the conversation for a little bit later in the live. Right. But yeah, the whole process, I know for me personally, I have dabbled in writing, all throughout my life. I've written poetry and short stories and things like that. I love to journal. So, going into writing this book, I was like, I'm a writer. It'll be okay. But y'all, it was actually difficult. It was very difficult.
Tough. Yeah.
And for me, I think that the most difficult part of the process, one of the most difficult things in the process is that, we were writing a book about our life, it's a memoir about our experience. And so just doing that and opening ourselves up and being vulnerable is it's a scary thing.
It is.
It's a really scary thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one big part of the book that we're talking about our past relationships, which is tough because, you're in this spot where we wanted to give the audience as much insight into us, what's worked for us, where we made mistakes in the past, but you also want to be charitable to those people in the past and, not put anyone on blast or,
charitable.
Yeah. So we just had to write it in a very, methodical, well thought out way. And, I've always loved writing too. Like Lauren, I've written a lot of poetry. I wrote an epic poem like the Iliad when I was younger. And I actually have been working on a science fiction book for a long time that I haven't finished yet. So maybe in the future we can do that. But yeah, I mean, it's just exciting to see the finished product and the finished product after such a long time. And I think this was able to get done efficiently because we had each other to kind of keep each other accountable. And we were able to really compartmentalize it in the sense of like, okay, this week we'll get chapter 1 done. This week we'll get chapter 2 done.
Right.
And that sort of thing. So I think that was really the key, was kind of breaking it into digestible pieces.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, how it was therapeutic. I mean, literally just kind of peeling back those layers, opening ourselves up, even for, criticism, if you will, for even, like I say, it's always scary sharing your failures, right? It's easy to share all the things that you've done right, all the things that go well, all the sparkly, pretty things in your life, but it takes a strong person to share the bad things, but it's the bad things that really help others,
Right.
Inspire them to do better and get over the hump and take those leaps of faith, right?
Got to take those leaps of faith. No, it really is. I mean, it really is, because oftentimes, those leaps of faith are often the things that would catalyze a big change. Not yet.
Oh.
A big change in your life. I got a system going over here.
Oh, he has a system. Oh.
So, yeah, no, I think those leaps of faith are really what catalyze like big life changes, whether it's, for example, starting a new career path or starting your own business, or, doing something like reality TV, where in our case, our family was both like, don't do it.
Right.
There's a big chance you can get embarrassed. And I mean, plenty of people have been embarrassed on reality TV.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But it's also, like many things in life, I feel like it is what you make of it.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that there was anything in the book that you feel like you personally were nervous to put in there? I mean, of course, we know that the stuff with our exes and all that stuff, we had to tread lightly because we didn't want anybody coming with a cease and desist. Hey, let's keep it real. But other than that, do you feel like there's anything else in the book that you were nervous about, or how people would receive, or your family, our family, because we married, we share families now.
That's right.
Would see or read that you're like, ooh, I hope that they,
Not really. I think
you're an open book, literally.
I am an open book. I really am. I've always been, I think, pretty upfront about like where I stand with it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that I'm really trying to conceal. I mean, we talk about sex in the book.
Yeah.
And of course, our family is going to be reading the book. But I mean, we did it in a classy way, I think.
Yeah, we actually hit on a lot of different topics in Leap of Faith. I mean, from sex to date nights, stuff that's worked for us, stuff that hasn't worked for us, even things down to being in a relationship, which is something that we get asked about a lot. So yeah, I think one of the things that we've really heard from a lot of people is that they're grateful for how realistic and transparent this book is. We're not sugarcoating it. And, just like as people saw on Love is Blind, we keep it real and we tell it how it is. And that has not changed in us writing Leap of Faith. It's the same thing. And we've just been very transparent, and it's really refreshing to see people really relate to our stories, and whether it's from dating or the things that we went through prior to Love is Blind with our careers. Maybe we were struggling. I know for me in the book, I talk a lot about how I was in a very dark period before Love is Blind, just kind of struggling with dating, career, and all that stuff. And I also share, the things that really helped me to come out of that and really move on and be able to open myself up to love.
Yeah.
So I think that was very valuable for a lot of people. So far, I've gotten a lot of people writing me messages like, oh man, I could relate. I do the same thing. So that's refreshing to hear as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So what would you like people to know, or something that hasn't really been brought up yet that you want people to read about, or something of that nature?
Something that hasn't been brought up yet that I want people to read about.
Because it's been brought up about the race relations chapter. We've talked a lot about that already. Mm-hmm. We've talked a lot about.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sweating. It's hot up in the studio.
It is. We turn the AC off so y'all can hear.
You guys can hear. So if you see me sweating or patting my face and stuff like that, I'm just, I'm trying not to drip on your sign sheets.
That's the special.
That makes it that much more special, right?
Lauren's DNA on the sheet.
But let's see, anything that I wish that people ask me about more. I don't know. I feel like for me, actually, you know, and the things that people have come up to and asked us about, whether it be interviews or people who have read the book, I feel like I'm actually pleasantly surprised that people have picked up on a lot of the things that I wanted them to know about me, like, you know, how all the things that I had to overcome, and, you know, how my dating life was terrible before, you know, Love is Blind, and just, you know, like I mentioned, the things that I had to do to overcome that or in my career, because I feel like people see us and they're just like, oh my God, you guys are picture perfect.
Right.
You're a fairy tale. Everything is perfect.
Right,
and butterflies and puppy dogs. And it's like, honey, no, it was a journey. It still is a journey,
right,
you know, up until that point and after. So I think that that's really important for people to realize and understand, because first off, I don't want to be perceived as perfect to anybody, because I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. You know, our relationship isn't perfect. And I think that that was another reason why we're so excited for people to read Leap of Faith, because we're giving truthful, pragmatic tips, things that we've learned. And, you know, we're hoping that that can help people and inspire them and motivate them to not lose hope in things. How about you?
Yeah, no, that's right. In terms of perfect relationship, like Lauren said, we do get that a lot, where people, I think, sort of idealize our relationship, which isn't all bad. I think it's really nice that people, you know, really love our relationship. But I think in terms of long-term health for a relationship, it's important to understand, like, you know, we're human. Whoever you're with is human, and there's going to be things that you disagree about. There's going to be, you know, inherent weaknesses that you both have, and you know, it's just, I think it's all the more better that you're able to work through whatever those things are and still have a happy relationship, you know, versus just like this perfect symmetry and, you know, everything's like a Disney castle.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, that's something. And I really like, I love the book. I really love about the book. Yeah. That we really got to give people a context of who we are, aside from like what they saw in Love is Blind, because Love is Blind was such an important milestone in our life. But I mean, first of all, we already had a very full life up until that point.
Yeah.
And then, you know, our journey together has just been accelerated since Live. So there's just so much more to the story. And it's funny too, because after writing the book, I've thought of 100 different things I wish we had put in there.
Oh, that just means we got to come out with a sequel, baby.
Sequel's coming out. Yeah.
Okay, Leap of Faith 2.
I was thinking about all these things. I'm like, man, why didn't I put that in? But I mean, I think the book stands for itself, and I'm proud of what's in there.
So did you ever in your life think that you would be here where you are right now, like writing a book, you know, in our studio, married through this crazy process of reality TV? Like, could you ever in your wildest dreams picture that this would be your life?
Well, I think certain elements I could picture, but the whole picture overall, no, I don't think that. You know, I had always seen myself as being an author one day for sure. So that, you know, I could definitely get on board with. And I'd always been fascinated by reality TV, but it just seemed like so out there.
Yeah, same.
You know, it's like totally unattainable or just in a foreign world. And then having that, and what we had was just beyond, you know, the reality TV that I ever experienced, of like the Jersey Shore and
because you said that
The Bachelor and
random, but you said that you actually like grew up loving Jersey Shore. Like you would see it and be like, yeah, that's cool.
I never said that. I never said that.
He said he started slicking his hair back, like talking. Like,
I never said any of that. All right.
He did. He never said that, guys.
I did, but hey, look, I did the gym tan laundry thing on Jersey Shore. I was a big fan of that.
I have no idea what that is, and I don't think I want to know. So
It's not that big of a deal. But the point is that, yeah, I just was always fascinated by reality TV. But for Lauren and I, we didn't audition for the show. The show found us through whatever means they did, still a mystery.
Yeah, which we detail in the book as well. Because it's funny because I feel like so many people are like, well, what made you guys want to audition for this show? It's like, yes, we went on the show, but we didn't choose this life. This life chose us. Okay, they came looking for us.
It's destiny, y'all.
It was destiny, but we know that you guys have submitted some questions for us to answer. So let's get to you guys' questions. Let's see.
Questions.
So we know that you guys submitted some through Premiere.
Right.
And then also I know that there's some on the socials that we posted. So how about
them everywhere.
You pick a question, I pick a question, and we just go back and forth so we can get you guys questions in. What do you think?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do it.
So you first, baby.
Okay.
By the way, thank you guys so much, everyone who's tuning in. We're grateful for you guys, and we're so grateful for the ways that you guys support us and hold us down. Just in case you missed the intro, if you have not already gotten a copy of Leap of Faith, there are signed copies available. All you have to do is click a link. I believe that there is one on this video. If not, the link is
premiercollectibles.com/leap. You can get yourself a signed copy. The ones we're signing right here.
Right now with our beautiful sweat and love.
And these are extra special because you get a little sweat DNA sample. It's perfect.
We're just kidding, y'all. It's not going to be like that.
You want to make a clone from the sweat?
Oh my God, baby. You're always trying to make a clone. That's scientist in you, babe. All right. You got some questions?
No clones yet, though. Sorry, guys. All right. So... A lot of good stuff up in here. Do we want to just go from the top and work down?
I don't know. Pick which one you want. If something stands out to you, I say pick it.
All right.
Well, there's a ton of good questions in there. So
we kind of just answered this question, which was, what was your journey to getting to Love Is Blind like? Did either of you see yourselves on reality TV? So I kind of answered that. The journey, I mean, basically they reached out to us. For you, it was a DM on IG, right? For me, they gave me a call, and at first actually it was a text, and we talk about this in the book, but I got a text. The text had this like kind of cheesy looking image of like two people holding hands. And it's like,
it looked real low budget.
It looked pretty low budget,
as the kids say.
Yeah, pretty low budget.
It looked a little questionable. Like, is this real or is somebody playing?
It looks a little flimsy, but yeah, I was like, "Are you looking for true love without all the complications?" It was something like that, It was just like something very odd. I thought it was like a spammy thing, or some, I don't know, scam or something. So I ignored it. A few weeks later, got a missed call while I was in the shower. Called them back. Rest is history.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, same for me. Somebody slid into my DMs. I'm not gonna go too into detail because it's in the book, and we want you guys to get and read the book, because we want you to hear us tell our stories and read it in
the full detail. And
and
by the way, that's another reason for us writing this book is, we get asked some of these questions. We get asked a lot, and I think it's awesome that people care enough to ask them. But we wanted to hit like some of those like most common questions, like what was the audition process like for the show? Did you ever see yourself being on reality TV? What was like leading up to that? How did that all happen? So there's a lot of behind the scenes tea of like even the production stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. I have another question here, and it is from Lauren. Nice name, girl. Hey, Lauren from Kansas City, Missouri, and it says, "How was being vulnerable on TV and in a book? Being vulnerable on TV and in a book helped you evolve?" Man, Lauren, that is an awesome question. I feel like I kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. It's something about opening up yourself to be vulnerable that really helps you grow, and I think that a lot of people are afraid of being vulnerable because they feel like it makes them weak. But what I learned from that, or helped me evolve, I guess, if you will, in that wording, is that vulnerability can really become a strength, if you know how to leverage it, because it teaches you that, through the losses of your life, that they actually become lessons. You can learn from every single time that you feel like you struggled or that you failed. It's always something that you can get from that testimony that can just help you, grow and develop to be stronger. So I think that for me, I really evolved by being vulnerable because it's helped me learn from my past mistakes. It's helped me to help other people through my story and my testimony. And it's really helped me to just open myself up and be confident in my story and the things that I've experienced. And I think that that's the best thing that you do, if you use your vulnerability as a strength and not a weakness.
Yeah, I think that's such a key thing. And it's something that I think we all have had to confront at some point in our lives. And I think that fear of vulnerability comes probably from earlier life, when maybe we were vulnerable and it wasn't received well by others.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not to cut you off, baby, but that just made me think. Now, I'm not to say that you should just go out here and be vulnerable to everybody, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, I think that it's okay to take leaps of faith. And step outside of your comfort zone and really go for the things that you want and open yourself up, be open-minded, have an open heart about situations.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you have to be vulnerable if you want to connect on a deeper level, whether that's with a partner or a friend, or in our case, our audience, y'all who are reading the book. I mean, in order for us to connect, we have to be vulnerable. And I think you'll find you're growing stronger, much akin to what Lauren said. You find yourself growing stronger when you're, because you have that fear of sharing certain things, you overcome it. You don't have that sort of fear anymore. You're more confident in yourself. So it's really such a wonderful thing to be able to do it. And I feel like it kind of snowballs. The more you do it, the easier it gets over time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially for you, Cam, I feel like when Love is Blind came out and you were kind of known as the guy who wasn't afraid to show his emotion or his vulnerability. How do you feel like, the world or society viewing you as that and kind of admiring you for being a man who doesn't hide his emotions? Like, how did you feel that was the perception, as opposed to people being like, oh, he's weak, or,
Right.
Especially as a male man.
As a male man.
Well, no, because, some men feel like they have to be strong, and men don't cry and stuff like that. So how did that feel for you, kind of being on this huge, successful show, as, becoming one of the favorites and, showing your emotions?
Yeah, well, see, that's one of the biggest, I think, misconceptions of current society and society for a long time, is that, people equate showing emotions with weakness, crying with weakness. For men, obviously, it's a big social taboo oftentimes to cry, to show emotions in general, except for sometimes society says, like, you can be angry or you could be whatever. But for me, I always felt like that was wrong. I always felt like if you're able to show your emotions and not be afraid of the judgment of others, then that's a strength that very few people have. And, I'm proud of that fact. I think that I'm confident in the fact that I have nothing to hide about my emotions. I'm not going to pretend I don't feel a certain way because I'm afraid of how people are going to judge me. So, I hope that resonates with others. Men in particular, but people overall. I say men in particular just because it's such a stereotype for men, and something that ultimately I think really drags them down in life. Because I feel like suppressing emotions in that way only has negative repercussions.
Well, kudos to you, baby, for not being afraid to be yourself. All right, your turn to pick a question.
All right. See, we're digging deep, y'all.
AKA, vulnerability can equal strength when you're evolving into a new person and just growing.
There you go. It's not intuitive. It's kind of counterintuitive. All right. So this is a short. I think we can answer it short. Thoughts on a spinoff one day?
Ooh.
That's definitely not outside of the realm of possibility.
Absolutely not. It is definitely Very, very possible. I mean, we would love to really just continue our story. Of course, this book is one form of that.
Right.
But I think that, everyone was introduced to us through reality TV. And a lot of people have asked us, what do we think about a spinoff? Part of it is a little scary because, it's that whole vulnerability thing and opening up your life for other people to see and comment and have an opinion on, which is scary. Right. But at the same time, I feel like, us sharing our story, being the unconventional kind of love story that is formed, I feel like it's important for us to share our growth and the things that we experience. And I would love to continue to share our stories on our terms.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, we've got a lot going on in our lives. I mean,
a whole lot, y'all.
Yeah.
Like a ton going on in our lives.
Yeah.
So we got plenty to share.
Yeah. Other family planning type of stuff.
Oh Lord, he's sparking rumors, y'all.
No. I mean, I'm saying in the future. So there's just a lot coming up. So it's definitely very, very possible. Of course, we'll keep y'all updated.
Yeah.
As we get closer.
Of course we will. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think there's a lot we could tell. And of course, as you know, hopefully you follow our YouTube channel, Hanging with the Hamiltons. Hopefully you're subscribed. If not, go ahead and subscribe, turn on the notification bell, watch all the videos, all that. But anyways, no, we'll keep going with the content on there. And I think we talked about, we really want to, for the next videos we put out, really do something that we just think is a lot of fun to do. And some people were asking like, hey, like they wanted to see weekly videos, but I think we're leaning more towards the quality over quantity. We really want to pump out some stuff that we really are excited about.
Absolutely. So I was actually looking at another question that we could share. Let's see here. I definitely see the kids' questions that we get all the time. You guys even managed to slip the kid questions into the book, y'all. Y'all supposed to be asking us about the book.
I know.
Asking us about kids. You just couldn't help yourself.
I know. They can't.
They really can't.
What are you gonna do?
Let's see here. So, we kind of answered a lot of these. We've just been talking our butts off. Okay, here's one that we get a lot, of course.
One we'd love to. Yeah, we just love to talk.
Let's see. What has being in an interracial relationship taught you? Are some of these lessons in the book? I think that being in an interracial relationship, this is my first, as the Love is Blind drilled into all of you all's heads over and over and over again.
Right.
This is my first time in interracial relationship
first
with
and last.
A Caucasian man. Definitely the last, because I'm married now, and that's a lifelong commitment, so there won't be. Anyway, it's definitely taught me a lot. I think. Yeah, sorry, it's hot. I'm getting delirious. Anyway, if I could just get this point out, I was just gonna say that I think that most people think that when you're in an interracial relationship that you have to like, oh my God, we're so different. What are we gonna do? They're from this background, I'm from this background. But to be honest, you guys, I feel like one of the best parts about being in an interracial relationship is the opportunity to learn, whether it's a different culture or a different religion, or you guys are from two different places, country or city or what have you. Right. So I think that it's a great opportunity to be a learner, to learn and to be a teacher.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that's the most fun. I mean, you just teach your culture, share experiences, and it's always good to just give and take.
Yeah.
You don't always have to focus on the differences as well. It's always good to focus on things that you guys have alike. Like Cameron and I, we have so many things that we both like, so many common likes that we like to focus on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And our differences are fun too, because we get to teach and learn from each other.
Yeah. I mean, we have a scary number of similarities.
Yeah, it really is like we're twin souls.
Right. So
the show was made just for us.
Yeah, no, it is true. I feel that way often. And yeah, I mean, I know I've talked to a lot of people who it's such a common scenario, and we talk about this in the book, but
we're gonna keep saying we talk about this.
Well, we do. I feel like we really hit a lot of things, but it's a common scenario I've seen where someone came up to me and asked, like, you know, I'm interested in this person. They're a different race, different ethnicity, but I like them. Like, how should I go about this? And it's like, you know, I think people just psych themselves out, basically, oftentimes. I mean, it's definitely important to be educated on the person's background, their culture, have those conversations with them. You know, if you have questions, you know, I mean, and often when you're asking questions, it's just kind of like the way you ask, you know, obviously be respectful. I feel like some of this kind of just goes without saying, but I'll say it just for clarity. So yeah, I think people psych themselves out, you know, approach it like you would when you're dating anyone, but also, you know, make an effort to kind of educate yourself and ask questions where you're uncertain of things. I mean, you know, sometimes it might be uncomfortable to ask those questions, but if you have to ask it, you know, if you don't know why she wears a bonnet before you go to bed. I mean, I already knew that, but I'm just giving you an example.
Come on, bonnet life. Yeah. All right, Beth, did you want to pull a question, or I have some pulled up here if you like?
Go ahead while I'm searching.
Let's see. I don't know if we kind of answered this, but what would you say is the hardest part to write for you?
The hardest part to write?
Of the book?
Yeah, I kind of answered this, but like talking about past relationships was tough because I mean, we really had to dig into like where we went wrong. I felt like it wasn't right to be like, oh, you know, my past relationship, like they really messed up. Yeah. It's like, it's important for me to take accountability for the relationship. And I think obviously relationships are a two-way street. So it's, even if something goes wrong in the relationship, there's probably something on both ends that could have been improved.
Absolutely. Now, on the flip side, do you feel like there's something that you're super proud about, you know, that you put in the book, or your favorite?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm proud of the book overall. I think there's some really funny parts in the book. I think that one of the things that comes to mind is there was a moment when Lauren and I first talked about the possibility of getting engaged. And I won't spoil all the details so you can read it in the book, but I really thought that moment was going to be in the show just because of how important it was to me and how pivotal it was in our relationship. But I feel like I really captured that well. And I think even in the audiobook, especially when we did that.
Yeah. Good answer, baby.
Yeah, how about you, babe?
Something that I'm most proud of in the book. I would definitely just say, I'm starting to feel repetitive here, but I think the thing that I'm proud of is the same thing that scared me the most. And that's just, you know, being able to share my failures, actually being able to complete the book.
Yeah.
I think that overall, just completing it and having it out, I'm so happy. I'm so elated. And I just can't believe that we actually did it.
I know. Took a lot of work.
Yeah. Here's one more question. It says, what do each of your parents think of the book? Ooh, what do Mama and Papa Speed and Mama and Papa Hamilton? Ew.
Why'd you say it like that?
Think about the book.
Well, have they read it yet?
I mean, my mom is pretty much almost done.
Okay.
She likes to take her time and go through and highlight. I'm sure that she'll have some questions.
Yeah, wait, what is she highlighting?
You know, she's taking notes. My mom is a teacher.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, bringing the book to me like it's a homework assignment. Like, so on page 67, you said, now what was that? So, but overall, my mom said that she loves the book. She said that it was a few moments in the book that were like tearjerker moments for her,
really?
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
Interesting.
But I think that for her, it was just kind of emotional reading the story about, my life, going from, even I would say I went back to childhood for some things, but just kind of reading about the family and how that affected me in dating and just kind of helped me form as the woman that I am today. So I think that her reading that and kind of reading throughout the book and just kind of reliving my journey through the words was really emotional for her. And Papa Speed, so far, he loves it. He said, Papa Speed is always going to be honest, y'all. And he said that he loves it. He said the structure of the book, he's still trying to understand. He's like, well, it goes back and forth, and I'm trying to understand. I'm like, Dad, just read the book. But overall, he says that he loves it. Good. He said it's an easy read. He said that it's fun. It's light.
Yeah, we wanted to keep it light, but still pack in, a lot of content in the text. So for my parents,
your mom read it.
Yeah, my mom read it back in like one of the later drafts of the book. And then she came back with all these like suggested edits. I'm like, oh.
She did.
I'm not going to put all these edits in. But
she's like, you should write more about me in the story. Be sure that you add.
My mom was the best mom in the world.
I don't blame her. I don't blame you, Mama.
Love you. I actually did incorporate a lot of her revision suggested stuff.
Yeah.
But most of it was small stuff, like dates and things like that I guess I got wrong. And she had some funny jokes. She had some jokes she wanted me to put in.
She had jokes?
Well,
Mama Hamilton is writing stand up now?
She's got, she is. But I think she enjoyed it overall.
So would you say that you have any specific memories about the book writing process? That was one of the questions, by the way. I can't take credit for these. I'm still, reading the questions that you all have submitted. So do you have any specific memories about the book writing process?
Oh, tons. I think I may have mentioned this, but Lauren and I, while we finished like basically the final draft or near the final draft, Lauren came into my office and we just read the book back and forth to each other.
Oh yeah, that was nice. Out loud.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It was really sweet. Yeah. That was like a Pinterest board moment, like I'm like, oh, we're reading to each other. This is so romantic. We would have wine and just like read the book to each other. It was really romantic. It was beautiful. For me, I would say that was definitely one of my favorite memories in writing the book. I also would say that I have some memories of struggling as well writing the book. Just kind of, it's really hard, y'all, to like write and go back and revise like 10, 12, 15 times, just to get the book right for how we want it, to be sure that we're telling the story where we feel comfortable, that it's coming out right, that it's, us telling our story is super important. So we don't want anything to get misconstrued. So yeah, that's one of the memories I have, is going back and editing and really putting the work in to write this book.
That's the truth, is really the majority of the time it's not that fun, unfortunately.
Well, babe.
Well, just in the sense of like the revisions.
That doesn't mean that it won't be fun to read.
It's fun to read, absolutely. But writing it, it was fun like when we first initially sketched it out. But then when it comes to that point where it's like, okay, I really gotta, if we're gonna get this book out when we want to get it out, we've got to finish it by this date and this by this date. So, and then just like, okay.
Deadlines.
Yeah, the deadlines. The deadlines were good, but just going through the revision, like, I don't really like the phrasing, changing that, it's just a lot of work, but it pays off. But when you're in the trenches of it, you're like, man,
it was definitely a labor of love, y'all. Yeah. So here's another question. It says, if you were approached about turning your book into a movie, would you consider it?
Sure.
Yeah. Who would play you with?
Who would play me? Gosh.
It just reminded me of the Today Show appearance.
Today Show appearance.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a side thought, but I'll talk about that after.
Who would play me? Oh, I don't know. Chris Hemsworth, maybe.
Chris Hemsworth, babe.
No idea. No, that would be fun.
Yeah, you know what? It's so funny because I didn't really think about this until after the book came out, because I feel like a lot of people were like, hey, this could be a movie. Like, I can really see this book becoming a movie. Like, what do you guys think about that? And our story is so crazy. Like, it's just so crazy and out there. So I could definitely see it being a movie. I mean, just kind of, our separate lives and leading up to this huge, colossal meeting and on Love is Blind and the show and how it just hit like a meteor and really kind of shifted, I feel like, a lot of people's views about dating and love in some aspects. But if I had somebody to play me, I might have played me. I would say Halle Berry, but let's be realistic. So there's actually a girl named Ryan Destiny. You know who Ryan Destiny is? Okay, she's an actress from Detroit, so I probably have her play me.
Let's see who she is.
I was gonna say the whole what's his name? James McAvoy. Now listen, when we were on the Today Show, y'all. Okay, we were playing the game on the Today Show, and I know this is kind of off topic, but I just want to get this in right quick. And the question was, it was the Not So Newlywed game. It was, who did Cam look like? And I thought that they were asking me who people say that Cam looks like. So that's why I said James McAvoy. If y'all don't know who that is.
For the record, y'all, I do not look like this man, okay? The only similarity we have is having brown hair and a red beard. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
but
next
then
question.
again, people send, I don't know if it's you or me more, but people are forever sending us people
who they think we look like.
No.
Oh, anyway.
No, y'all. If you think that, don't say that.
Would y'all watch Lauren and Cam movie? I would. Shoot.
It's a rhtorical question. Okay.
More questions, babe. You pick some. I feel like I've been picking them.
You have. Kids. Let's see.
We hope that y'all are enjoying this.
We're giving you our best shot.
That you're picking up something of, what from us, or our lives, or our love of the book, our process in writing the book. I really hope that you guys are enjoying this. We're enjoying it.
So Allison in Phoenix, Arizona. We haven't been reading the names up until now, but here we go. If you could go back and give yourself advice before joining Love is Blind, what would you tell yourself? I mean, really, I wouldn't change anything. So there's no advice I would really give. But I would say for people who want to go on Live, because, obviously there's seasons 2 and 3 coming up, but they already cast and filmed those guys. Sorry, but then maybe there'll be 4 and 5. Who knows? Where was I going with that? Oh, I mean, we talk about vulnerability. I mean, ultimately, I do think if you want to connect, you have to be vulnerable. I think it can be helpful to think about what you want in a partner and maybe even write it down. But also to, think about yourself and like, do I have those same qualities I'm looking for in a partner? I think you want to find someone who's equally matched to you, equally yoked, as they said. So, you should want to be the partner that you want to have.
Agreed, baby. My turn to read a question?
Go ahead.
This question is from Reezy02. Hopefully I said that properly, but it says, will you be okay with your future kids reading this book? I thought that was a good question.
That's nice. Yeah, sure. Why not? Hey, they're going to watch the home video on Netflix, so.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll skip over the sex part.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about their parents' sex life.
I mean, it wasn't even that graphic.
Or was it?
Dun, dun, dun.
You won't know until you read the book, which is available. If you don't have your copy, be sure to head over to Premier Collectibles and get your signed copy. Okay, period. But I would definitely say that letting our future kids read the book, hey, there's some good tidbits in there. Of course, they're gonna get, mom and dad's teachings anyway, but we might just have to use this book as our part of our manual when we're parenting our kids.
Right.
Like, look, if you're gonna go date, these are some of the things that you need to learn to avoid the mistakes that mom and dad made. So
you guys met on TV.
Do as we say, not as we do. Do as we say, not as we do. The book kids. So yeah, so let's see. We're kind of towards the end.
Not quite.
You want to answer some more questions?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's keep going.
People, what they came here for.
This is what you came for.
All right. Here we go. I've seen this question a lot. I think it's interesting. Did you personally pick the Reverend for your wedding? No, we didn't.
That was a random question.
I've seen that question a few times in the past, though. I don't know why people thought that. No, that's someone that Next found for the wedding.
That was just very random. Here's another lib question because people love the lib tea, and it's plenty of that in the book, by the way.
Plenty of lib tea.
Definitely a lot of behind the scenes things. We're talking about our relationships with the other cast members, our experience, our first day walking into the Love is Blind production, how we felt about that, how we were treated and all that, good ways and ways that we were like, ooh. So y'all definitely want to read that tea. But here's a question. It says, while on Lib, did you ever disobey the producers? Now this word disobey, that makes it sound like there are parents or something. I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, we didn't, look, we have free will, so we don't have to follow along with everything the producers say. No. And I think that's super important for anyone doing reality, because the producers, obviously it's their job to pull, to push, to kind of push the boundaries of what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. So you got to stand tough against that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was plenty of times where I said no. And I really feel like that made a difference in how I came across on the show. Because there was some things that the producers would do or ask, and I was just like, nah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we had to definitely do that. I mean, because, you know, if you give the producers an inch, you know, they'll want to take a mile, and it's no fault of theirs. They're really just doing their job. But, you know, you have to kind of protect yourself at the same time. So yeah, we had to definitely turn down some of the things that they asked us to do or say or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like the thing about reality TV, and I feel like that's why people were so touched by our story, because I feel like we heard from so many people that they were like, oh, you guys just seem like real people, and you don't see that in reality TV, which is so crazy. Real people, reality TV. So I think it was refreshing to see people who were themselves and stood up to be themselves and not become characters or something that was overly produced, which we also talk about in the book.
Yes, we do. And that's part of it. Exactly what you said right there is that standing up, you know, really being assertive in that respect is important for being real. You know, and I don't mean like being difficult. You know, if they're like, hey, can you guys go stand over there? We're like, no,
we're not divas, but we're also
but like if they're
not
asking,
puppets either. Hello, no puppets over here. All right, babe. So you pick the question.
All right. Some of these are just kind of like questions about our future, which is nice.
Yeah, let's answer some questions about our future.
This one's funny. It says, will you be that family with a summer home?
Oh, I would love to be that family with a summer home. Okay, I want a summer home somewhere fancy and nice that I could travel to and be on the beach and stuff. I hope so.
I hope so. There you go. Let's see. That's
a blessing.
How are you planning for your retirement? See, this person's thinking far in the future. I like
that.
How
are we planning for our retirement?
You know, I'm gonna say it's important to invest, y'all. I'm big into investing. I'm actually working on a piece of software right now that will come out later for people to get a better sense of like what companies to invest in just by looking at their financial statements. So that software, my whole point of it was to empower people to be able to look at companies and actually understand what's going on, you know, like cash flow, the revenue, how much debt do they have versus how much are they earning, and really just get like a layman's understanding of all that stuff so that when you're buying stocks, you actually know the business that you're buying and you're not just buying something based on what your Uber driver told you to buy or something like that.
Well, there you go. If you have more questions about stocks or the stock market, be sure to hit up Cameron. on
Well,
his Instagram?
it's really an important thing, and I think we've seen that a lot recently, is that people are more and more interested in investing. So
yeah, absolutely. So there you have it. I have one more question here, and I think this is kind of a good question to almost wrap up on before we do our closeout sayonara goodbyes and everything. This question says, do you have any encouragement for a budding writer, if any?
Yeah, I think so. I think one thing that's really important is to not think about like the finished manuscript, but to think about like, okay, today I'm going to write 300 words, or I'm going to write for half an hour. And of course, you have to think about like the outline of the book and get a good skeleton of like how the chapters are going to be and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it actually comes time to sit down and write it, I find it overwhelming to think too big at once. It's better to kind of break it into smaller pieces. And I mean, you'd be amazed that if you were able to consistently do like half an hour a day, it won't be that long before you finish a book.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the main thing is just to get writing. Whether you start journaling every day, like Kim said, maybe you just pick a topic and you write about it for a half hour each day. But the important thing is just to kind of put your thoughts on paper. I've always been a heavy journaler. That's a word, journaler. So I just think it really helps to kind of let your mind bleed on the page and vomit on the page, if you will, and just let whatever's in there come out, because it'll help you with writing and feeling more comfortable writing and letting your thoughts flow on paper. So I think that that's a great tip.
Yep, perfect. That's great.
All right. Well,
I think we hit it.
There was, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us with this live signing. With this live signing. Y'all know what I meant, okay? So like we've been mentioning throughout the live, if you have a copy of your book already, kudos to you. You are a part of the Cool Kids Club. Good job. If you have not gotten your book already, don't fret, because there are copies available. If you would like a signed copy, which we're doing right here today, be sure to head over to premiercollectibles.com/leap to get your copy, y'all. And it has our sweat on it. So these are going to be extra special, okay?
Put our blood, sweat, and tears into this book, into the signing. We love y'all. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you very soon.
That's right. Thank you, guys.